Welcome to the American Society of Magical Negroes.
There can be only one magical Negro.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And let's see. Speaking of spicy takes, I went to go see the American Society of Magical Negroes last night, and this movie is so bad and such an insult to the movie going public, not to mention an insult to Black people and white people in general, that I can't even bring myself to put on the full glam of makeup and do a video, because frankly, this film does not even deserve that type of nicety. But before we get into my scathing review of this sad excuse for a film, please do your girl a favor and hit that subscribe button. And once you do, make sure you hit that notification bell, because when you do, you'll be notified when your girl has hot, spicy new content for you to enjoy. So with that said, let's get into how I fell on the grenade and went to see this steaming pile of garbage. Frankly, I really wasn't going to go see this film, but the absurdity of the title had me intrigued. I mean, would it turn out to be a film that laughed at its own ridiculousness, and in turn would cause me to be introspective about what it means to be a Black person in America? Will we see humor a la Hollywood Shuffle or Blazing Saddles? Not in the woke tart era of Hollywood. Are you kidding? After 5 minutes, I was ready to pop smoke and leave this movie. But for you, my viewers, of course, I forced myself to stay and watch this film. So in general, what is a magical Negro?
The more garbage in the can, the better it feels to dump it all out.
Well, going from the definition shown at the beginning of this film, it is a Black character who exists solely to support a white leading character and has some kind of magical quality, like, I don't know, like in the movie Field of Dreams and Bagger Vance, The Green Mile. You get my idea with that.
Hey, how did you...
Sometimes things ain't really broken. It's the way we treat them that needs to be fixed.
So we have a young man named Aaron, played by Justice Smith, who is recruited into a secret society of Black magical people who dedicate their lives to a cause of utmost importance, making white people's lives easier and in turn making the world a more safer place for the Black people who inhabit it.
I know you can feel their discomfort, Aaron.
So you have a very awkward Aaron, and God, he is more than awkward, who's an artist whose medium is yarn. Yes, yarn. And he can't get his art sold at the show. And he's walking around the show constantly apologizing for bumping into white people. But anyway, when he fails to get the last investor to buy his art, who actually winds up mistaking him for a waiter, he gives up and throws his yarn art in the trash. And on the way out, well, after he does that, he meets Roger, who's played by David Allen Greer. Yes, of In Living Color, David Allen Greer. When Roger gets him out of a racially charged situation that will make BLM salivate, Oren finds out about the secret American Society of Magical Negroes, a group, charged with making the lives of white people easier so Black people can thrive in a world less dangerous while being authentically Black, whatever the hell that means.
What's the most dangerous animal on the planet?
Shark.
White people, when they feel uncomfortable.
Aaron has to decide between making life easier for Jason, the white male client he's been assigned to, or having a relationship with Lizzie, whom Jason is interested in dating. He's forbidden by the Society of Magical Negroes for using his accepted powers to further his own interest instead of that of his white client. Apparently, if you use these powers for your own gain, the whole collective loses their powers, and that is bad.
You cannot have a relationship with Lizzie now, because if you don't put Jason first, everyone's magic will fail.
How bad, you ask? Well, you get exiled for it. Orange shoots a shot to get with Lizzie and makes the collective lose their powers.
Someone defied the society. Who was it?
But wait, before Oren is kicked out of the cult, he says point blank that it shouldn't be his responsibility to make white people feel better. Apparently, that's his light bulb moment.
I've always felt like it's my job to make white people feel comfortable, but maybe it shouldn't be.
Roger, of course, tries to mind wipe him, and it apparently doesn't work. And then we see other members of the cult collective talking about such things as the welfare state and not being afraid to touch another man's junk. But when you think, 3, 2, 1. But when you thought this was over, apparently Lizzie is a member of a secret society too. Happens to be the SOSWAG, Society of Supportive Wives and Girlfriends, which frankly is a relief because the way they set it up, I thought it was going to be the American Society of Magical Latinos or worse, but it looked like a ham-fisted way to indicate that there's a possible sequel to this film. I swear to God, if they make a sequel to this film, just no. I don't know who's going to see it, because when I went to go see this film in the late afternoon on a Friday, just me and one other person that was there, and all the showings that I looked at in the Regal app, it was either one person or nobody going to see this film. So I usually try to find something that I like, even in a film that I cannot stand. And well, I did like the Hogwarts ripoff inspiration. Memories that are in magical candles instead of dunking your head in a pensive, stuff like that. The sets look beautiful for the society, and so kudos to the team that came up with that aesthetic. Honestly, that was the best thing really to see out of this film. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's see, what did I loathe about this film? Well, the cinematography in this movie is horrible, and the dialogue is a floating garbage fire. When you aren't being hit over the head with beyond mean-spirited insults about white people, you're being lectured about how white people are the most dangerous people on the planet. Oh, and add to that the attitude that Black people cannot make it out there on their own without the intervention of the Society of Magical Negroes. What kind of collectivist Marxist message is that? Sounds a little bit like W.E.B. Du Bois and the Talented 10th. Go Google that to find out what I'm talking about if you don't know. The budding romance between Oren and Lizzie is flat. I mean, if this was supposed to be a rom-com, it was neither romantic nor comedic. There is zero chemistry between these two people. Now, normally awkwardness is endearing in an on-screen romance, but the awkwardness is too over the top. It is painful. You don't care what these two people are talking about. You're more interested in what the background actors are doing, whether as opposed to what these folks are doing on screen. Justice Smith is such a talented actor. He really is. I've seen him in The Get Down. He was amazing in that. I liked him in Pokemon Detective Pikachu and also in the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out last year. In all of those films, his acting is allowed to shine. But in this trash of a film, he is so misdirected, I can't help but feel bad for him. And by the time he gets to his monologue on stage, chewing out Jason for not really seeing him, he comes off as a ranting lunatic that makes me wish he'd shut up. And it obscures what actually is the best dialogue in the film. Let me preface that by saying that dialogue is extremely, extremely subpar. And it's not just me who thought that, honestly. I never thought there would be a day when I would agree with anything that NPR was saying. But Aisha Harris, who put her review on Rotten Tomatoes, this article, The American Society of Magical Negroes, you don't want to join this club, and neither do I. So one of her quotes in this article, which I thought was extremely introspective. Aaron's character arc, if you wish to call it that, concludes with him superficially liberated. In the film's climax, he gives a grandstanding speech that what it's like to be Black 101, a far more grating version of Barbie's climactic feminism 101 monologue. The moment is wholly unearned, and the epiphany lands with a thud because Oren didn't really start from any place real to begin with. There's nothing radical or daring about his journey to self discovery, which hinges almost entirely on his romantic pining for Lizzie. In fact, Libby's script doesn't even try to engage with Black radicalism because if it did, the society would have to come under far more rigorous scrutiny than the film is interested in pursuing. The Magical Negro is so proud to have single handedly raised the Black life expectancy, at least according to society head Dee Dee, played by Nicole Byer, exists in a world where the likes of Harriet Tubman, Marcus Garvey, and the Black Panthers and Bree Newsom never existed. And the movie's finale seems content with that omission. Now, you're probably wondering why I think that omission is such a big deal, and especially why Ms. Harris thinks that that's a big deal. Because let's get back earlier to in the article. So what time are we living in now? It depends on who you ask and where you look. Not unlike American fiction, Society of Magical Negroes is convinced Black people on screen and in real life are, by and large, contending with the same stereotypes and barriers that we were 20 years ago. But that's its own kind of retrograde nostalgia trap to fall into, the kind that can only be constructed by ignoring key parts of history and the present reality. Very, very well said. So, of all the magic Negro moments to show in this film, they reenacted a scene from The Green Mile where Michael Clark Duncan's character grabbed Tom Hanks's character in the groin to heal his urinary tract infection so he could reclaim his manhood and have sex with his wife. Yeah. So then we flash to another scene where another magical Negro is grabbing a white man's crotch, a white man who looks suspiciously like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and I'm sure that was on purpose. Uh, just no. Just no, 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 no. 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 It's freaking insulting. The big thing that I loathed out of everything that I've talked about so far is the constant harping on white people being the enemy. I mean, let's be clear, even in 2024, racism is still out there. If you don't think that racism is out there, you are woefully ignorant. It's nowhere near the levels that it used to be, like, say, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and back. But it's there. But the thing is, it's not cool to be a racist. And that's the difference right now. But it's nowhere near the blatant and institutional racism of the Jim Crow area. And again, that harks back to, is this director aware of anything that happened before 1980 when he was born? It's blatantly obvious he does not. So this film could have been a true and honest, keyword is honest, dialogue about race in America. But you can't have that when you were intent on demonizing white people or victimizing Black people to the point where neither side is willing to discuss and learn. And frankly, considering how this film is so violently bigoted towards white people and extremely condescending towards Black people, the best thing both races can do is not see this flaming piece of trash. Full stop. So, with such an inflammatory title, it is a shame the film doesn't leave its audience educated through humor or intrigued by allegory. Instead, it chooses to paint Black people as perpetual victims, only able to survive by placating white people and feeding into a cult mentality of groupthink. It shows only white people as dangerous when every race has the potential to be so. There's so many ethnic groups in Los Angeles that have strife with Black people. I mean, Black on brown strife, that's an obvious one. When I lived in LA, they had that going on. But why are you going to pick on white people instead? I mean, seriously. I mean, if this film really wanted to be real, they'd be worried about the feelings of Latinos and Asians and white people and everybody in LA. But that probably would have made for a more interesting story. And this film didn't seem to want to go beyond a superficial analysis of race in America. Because you have a film that sees, to borrow a phrase from Young Ripper, acceptance by white people as a validation for their existence, white people are neither to blame nor are responsible for this. And by doing so, you insult the intelligence of your audience. And that is the biggest travesty of all about this film. Frankly, if you're a white person, you'll be made to feel like an enemy of the state. As a Black person, I felt insulted by this trash film that assumes that I have to change who I am in order to make white people comfortable. First of all, why should I even have to do that? Comfort is a personal problem on somebody else, not mine, okay? It's like what I say about offense. Offense isn't something that you give. It is something that you take. And it's funny how the first person who violated the rule of focusing on their needs instead of a white person that we saw in this film was a Black woman. And do you know what her crime was? Telling a white person that his work would have been better if he did the research like he was supposed to. I 100% agreed with her. And frankly, when she got booted, I wanted to leave with her. Bump all of y'all. So to boil it down, I wouldn't recommend anyone see this. I'm being polite to garbage buyers, and I should. But no one should see this Kobe Libby film at all. A better one to watch would be either, like, say, Soul Man, kick it back to like an 80s, go watch that. Go watch Hollywood Shuffle, or go watch The Boondocks. And frankly, better yet, just watch the Key and Peele Magic Negro fight skit. Because in that skit, in 3 minutes, you are laughing yet thinking at the same time. Because what makes that skit so dang funny is that the fight is not about the white man both of them want to save, but their egos in believing one is better than the other.
You need to find your own little troubled white boy.
My final score for the film, I'm pretty sure none of y'all are surprised, but I will give it a 1 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving it a 1 is because of the set design for the actual American Society of Magic Negroes. A lot of thought went into that. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I just feel bad that the people who worked on that will forever be associated with this crap fire of a film. So I feel bad for y'all. But on the Mark with the C scale, this film gets 9 flushes because it's a lot of bull. Yes. Full of it. All right, folks. So if you got some value out of this video, please do your girl a favor. Please do hit that like button. And if you didn't get some value out of this video, well, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Oh, you're a magical Negro too.
Who you call a Negro, bitch?